Hello, my name is Robin Yergubian, and I'm a counselor in the Transfer Center at Santa Rosa Junior College. Today I'm going to be walking you through the Common Application. Before we get started, I just want to mention that although many parts of the application are common to the campuses that use the application, each school is an independent private school, and they're going to have their own rules on admissions, and it's extremely important that you make sure to take the time to research in every school's website for their admission requirements, additional forms, supplementals that may be required, as well as for the major itself, because each school might divert in how they do things, and you'll see that later on as I walk you through. My goal here is also to orient you with the application and show you what the pieces look like. Here is the homepage, commonapp.org, where you'll begin, and you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, once you reach the web page, is Apply Now. That'll be the first thing you do. Once you create some basic information to trigger an account, it's going to ask you to search for a school. I've searched here for USC, which has pulled up, University of Southern California. You will check Add, and you can start your application from there. That brings you to the home screen for the Common Application. For those of you applying to the Cal States or CSU system, which is the California Public State System, it looks very, very similar, and some of the login actually might be the same, but you should know this is, although the formatting is the same, a different application to the private schools. The first section you will begin with is personal information, this upper left-hand box, and there it will ask for a number of pieces of information, mainly your contact information, a little bit about citizenship. They might ask some other personal history questions. Pretty straightforward. The second box, and the one that's going to take you a bit of time depending on where you apply, is academic history. So this section includes where you've attended high school, and make sure to list all the schools you have attended. If you don't see your school listed, maybe you were homeschooled or you went to high school in another country, you should have an option to manually enter that. You're also going to list every college attended, regardless of whether they were transferable in your mind or you passed, if you repeated them elsewhere. Every single thing you've taken needs to be reported in this section if given the option. So you put all the colleges. Some schools I've seen do not require you to enter all the coursework because you'll send in an official transcript. And even if you do complete this section, entering every class you've taken, most likely you'll also be sending in a transcript. So it's just a matter of if the school does require you to enter the transcript section manually here, or they will allow you to send in a transcript in lieu of entering it here. If you are entering transcript information, it'll look like this. If they don't want it listed here, a box will come up that says you don't have to fill out this section or something similar. So if you are filling out this section, you'll see that the first box to check is Add Semester. I've highlighted it here. Once you've done that, you can add a course. Make sure that you are getting accurate terms here, year. Make yourself a freshman for the first half, somewhere around the middle of your unit. Make yourself a sophomore. Junior and senior is upper division coursework at a 4-year. And then for completed, that just triggers grades to be entered. So then you'll add a course, and you can start putting in the course number, English 1A. Make sure you're not grabbing section numbers, but the course numbers, English 1A, Psych 1A, Soc 1 as examples. You're entering the course title exactly as it looks on your transcript. You're choosing a subject as close as you can get. You're going to see that not every subject is available, so get as close as you can, and if it's something that just is not showing up in any way, you can pick special topics, and then you select the units. This here is just 3 units on the nose, and then if you did a half unit, you would select 50 for 3 1/2, and then you put your grade. If you earned a W, put a W. Otherwise, your grades will go on exactly as they appear in your transcript. Make sure to save it. And then once you're ready to add a new term, hit Add Semester, and then you can move on. Again, certain schools don't require you to enter your coursework. They'd rather you just send the transcripts. If you entered your coursework, again, you might still need to enter your transcripts. This is where things vary per campus. You want to make sure you're hitting all of your supplemental tasks and deadlines. And for those of you with AP or IB credit from high school, you will put that information in the testing section, which is a separate tab in the application, but you're also going to list it within your first term of your college coursework, regardless of whether or not it was taken at that point. Most likely it wasn't, unless you were in high school at the same time. You'll put that information in, again, in that first term. Under course code, you'll put the name of the exam as it appears in your official score report. In this example, we have AP Span Lit for Spanish Literature. And the course title is AP Test Credit. Subject, get as close as possible. Because this one is Spanish, I've put foreign languages. Your credit should match what is listed on your high school transcript. So in this example, 4 credits, 4 units. And then your grade is listed as CR for credit. And then once you've entered all of your coursework, so regardless of the grades, whatever's in there, all of it needs to be included, you'll finalize your transcript. This box will come up and you can move through the process. There are some prompts there that they will move you through. You will check all attempts of a repeated course if at the same school. W's do not count as repeat, and there will be a box that triggers that. How many of these courses were repeated? Again, only if at the same school and not W's. This is the box that will pop up in that section. Lastly, there'll be a prompt asking you where you completed your first bachelor's degree. This is a glitch. All you need to do is check Santa Rosa Junior College and move on. So after college coursework has been input, you are going to put your GPA in. You can see that section here. This is what it looks like. And this is asking first, the total credit hours are your units. Then it's asking for your GPA. And then it will calculate quality points. But these are the 2 boxes you input here. That section is complete. And then again, it's going to ask for standardized tests like AP, IB. It'll prompt you. It might also ask for SAT, ACT. And these pieces here are dependent on the school and their policy around tests that are required. And you'll check per campus. So we move through personal information, academic history, which brings us to the supporting information box. This is where you're going to add some experiences, achievements, any extra documents. So I'll walk you through this. This is where, again, it gets a little bit more campus specific. Here's an example, by the way, of experiences maybe you've had. I've just put, volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club with my title. Anytime you have leadership to tout, make sure to include that. And here's an example of how to enter our activities. Again, any titles of leadership, you'll put that in that first box. Again, compensated means paid work. And then when you're writing your description, you want to get as specific as possible. Try to lead with action verbs. Think like a resume. And you can even Google search resume action word bank, and it can help you to wordsmith this section. I have an example here. I volunteered as a vice president, and I'll put something like co-led group of 15 students. Here's what I've been doing, what I coordinated, naming what I've coordinated, all the tasks I've helped support. Anytime you can get quantifiable, again, 15 students, 2 events per term. I'm going to do that. Fragments are okay. You don't have to write in complete sentences. And then if it's applicable to you, you can also upload an academic resume if you have a DD-214, and you'll know if you have these things, that's military service or anything else listed here. This is an opportunity to upload those documents directly to the application. And now we're going to get into a part of the Common Application that's not quite common to all the schools. It's program materials. And this is where each school has a bit of variety per their requirements. And we'll take a look at this. It's school specific. It's where you're going to manage recommendations, any additional forms that weren't listed in that other box I just reviewed, and then supplemental questions. Essays are going to be listed here. Smaller essays, even smaller prompts. Some schools want 2-word answers, and you'll see that. Again, everything's different. Make sure to research it. Here's an example. One school does want a personal statement. This is very typical. And the personal statement is going to address the prompt of, please provide a statement that addresses your reasons for transferring and the objectives you hope to achieve. You'll see you have 650 words. That's a lot of words. Here you're going to tie in what it is you've been up to, what have you been doing in the classroom, supported outside of the classroom, and how does that connect to your future endeavors. You're going to want to be pretty specific, cite examples, reflect on your examples, and tie it into goals. Most schools will have some sort of personal statement that's very broad. And then they may or may not have short questions, and this is where things just get highly individualized. The example I have here, one school is asking, what's the most significant challenge that society faces today? And you'll write what your perspective is and offering reflection. Remember, it's important for you to add in enough information that is direct and relates to you, how you are shaped, how you've grown, how you look at the world. They really need to get to know you. So if you're going to talk about something that society, is facing, have you played a part in helping that? Have you had awareness around that? What do you hope to do with it? You're going to want to connect it to you some way. Again, requested by most schools, and then anything past that is highly school specific. You'll see that some schools are going to ask for additional documents. First, a reminder that every school on your list will have a different application deadline and different requirements. You're going to want to research every school's admission page and the major page to see that you're submitting everything that's needed and by the deadline. It's not always included within the application. So I can give an example here. This is USC's transfer student application page, and they have provided a checklist. They're telling you need to complete the Common App. They need high school transcripts, official college transcripts. They need SAT scores or ACT scores if you've completed fewer than 30 semester units of college coursework. They would like you to include letters of recommendation, which, although optional, some majors might require them, so that's another thing you have to dig into is the major. And then again, depending on your major, you might also need to submit a portfolio, a resume, writing sample, etc. You might need to line up an audition if you're in an arts major. Speaking of arts major, here's an example of fine arts. This is in production. Their deadline is different. They're telling you that not only do you need to submit the Common App, but you actually need to submit an entirely different application to supplement it, which is the SDA Slide Room application. And part of this application are a bunch of extras. I won't get into this because it is so specific to an arts degree. They're going to ask for quite a bit more than maybe an anthropology major. But it's just a trigger for you to make sure that you're looking into the applications deep enough on the website so that you're not missing anything that is required for consideration. I've already mentioned these other possible information requests, that official high school or college transcripts, scores. You might also see something called the Transfer College Report. This is not uncommon. Many schools do ask for it, and it's an opportunity for them to receive official information from someone who can answer around your academic history and disciplinary history at the community college. While one fast way of finding that college report is to go to the Transfer Center website at SRJC, which is transfer.santarosa.edu. You can find the forms there. It should also populate on your Common App if you indicate a school that requires it. So an example here, University of Michigan, in their documents section, is a very tiny note saying you can download the college report and midterm report here, which implies that University of Michigan would like these reports by the deadline. Please keep in mind that every school, of course, as I've mentioned over and over, has their own way of listing requirements. There is a possibility that it's not listed in the Common App, and perhaps you needed to find that download on your own. So just make sure you're going into each website to confirm whether or not you need the college report. Most likely you can find it in the Common App. Worst case scenario, you go over to SRJC Transfer website for that document. If you do need to submit that information, there is a procedures page on the transfer website on how to fill that form out. You would download it, and upload it into your transcript request to Admissions and Records at SRJC. We fill out the form. As long as you tell us there's a form attached for Common App, we fill it out and include it with your transcripts to whatever school is on your list when you make the request through us. So you'll see if you do need to send transcripts, most likely you will. There are instructions here, and if you've already sent your transcripts, but you still need to get that form in, it changes ever so slightly. So please find that on the transfer website. It's transfer.santarosa.edu, and you're looking for Common Application Student Procedures or Transfer College Report. It's always extremely helpful if on a school's website they tell you what you do not need to submit so that you don't go into a panic trying to figure out if you need to. When in doubt, call the school. They are typically there to answer questions. But here's an example from USC, this current fall 2019 cycle. They tell you we do not need you to submit the following documents: academic evaluator, additional forms like the one I just walked you through. But not every school is the same. So yes, you could need that college report. You might also need a midterm report. It's kind of like a progress report for your final term, in which you go to your instructors and have them input your current grade status, sending that to the school to show that you are on track. And then eventually you'll probably need a final report to sum up how you did in that term officially. Official transcripts will be sent again, most likely, and you're going to look into all those pieces on your own. And then you're ready to submit. You're going to go up to the top of the application to the Submit Application page and hit Submit. You can see my application's not quite done. So if it doesn't go live and that Submit button is not green, it means you need to do something back in your application. And there you have it. If you have questions, please come visit us in the Transfer Center, and best of luck.